Alright everybody, I'm back, and as you can see the Jesta is all snapped up. All the nubs have been taken off and parts have been sanded. So we're ready to move on to the next step. But before we did, I just wanted to go over the model a little bit, show you guys some of the little features, do kind of like a mini review of it. First off, I have to say it was a great kit. I had a lot of fun building it. Very well engineered. Everything goes together exactly how you want it. I didn't have any trouble with any parts or anything like that. He's very articulate. You know, what you'd expect from a modern master grade, all the right joints, sliding armor, everything like that. And especially for a grunt suit, he's pretty detailed. I mean, all these little armor panels are all separate pieces. You know, the chest vents and everything, all separate pieces. There really are no stickers to speak of. He also has an LED feature, and I have a little LED here. This is like a little third-party LED I just grabbed off eBay because I wanted the orange color, and the Bandai one I believe is very expensive. It's only really easy to get the green, and it's kind of crappy, but you know, it'll work. He also has, for his LED feature, he has some pretty cool little setup. He's got in his visor, let's see if I can get it up close here. That orange part is the visor over the top, and then underneath it, there's actually like detail pieces in clear, and then a clear piping system through. So that's kind of unique. Usually it's, you know, like just a clear visor, and then, you know, little like there's not really any detail behind it, or there's just like silver detail with the one little hole for the LED. But yeah, he's got that. He stores everything on him pretty much. Right here on the back, you can see he's got his beam saber. Over here, he's got 3 extra ammo clips on the back of his right arm. He's got little grenades in his side skirts. He's pretty well armed. The shield is attached to the backpack, so you can kind of mess around with that and flip it around the back if you want, or having him not hold it is an option where he just got it sitting there, but it's not in his hand. So yeah, it's a lot of cool options. The articulation, like I mentioned, is really great. He moves just about any way you could possibly want. I don't know why you would do that, but that's what his foot does. His knee is kind of interesting. So you got a single bend when you bend it at first, and then you kind of pull the knee joint out a little bit. Let me see if I can show that on camera. You can see it sliding in and sliding out, and then it comes back even further. And he's got some nice detail on the frame. Inside there was like some piston type stuff. Obviously you can't see that right now, but still pretty cool nonetheless. As far as like complaints, no, I mean, I don't have any serious ones. He does have the 3.0 hands, so depending on how you feel about those are the ones that all the fingers are individually articulate. Some people hate them, some people like them. It kind of mixed for me. I mean, what I like about them is they look really cool. For me, it's just, you know, it's cool to have such a small little figure and all his hands, all his fingers move. That's just crazy. And putting them together is really wild. If you haven't done it, it's kind of scary almost, because they're all on one runner and you have to like snap them into place. But you know, they're probably not the best at holding things. Probably the fixed pose hands are probably a little stiffer for holding everything. But luckily, I mean, he's not holding a lot. It's not like he has a big, huge rifle or some kind of crazy bazooka or anything. Like I said, the shield is just kind of resting in his hand because it's attached to the backpack, and his gun is relatively simple. It's a nice size, but you know, there's not a whole lot to it. And then speaking of the gun, it is like the only seam line on the kit, but it does have a seam line running down the top and bottom. It's really just 2 pieces sandwiched together, so you're going to get your seam line there. But other than that, I mean, I really have absolutely nothing to complain about. One thing that stood out to me I really liked is his cockpit hatch. Let's see if I can get it to do it here. So the top piece like swivels out of the way, and then the bottom piece slides open. And I know that doesn't seem like much, but the opening cockpit is one of my favorite features about master grades. I don't know why. I just always find it really cool that they incorporate it in all of them, as far as I know, and they all have a little figure in there. And some of them, you know, they just like move up just a little bit where that would be the opening, and that's all you get, and you really even can't see the figure. But this one opens nice and wide. It has 2 sliding features, you know, the top and the bottom to get it out of the way. And you can, you know, it's a little dark, but you can see your pilot guy in there. So I don't know, I just thought that was kind of cool. Not really sure why, but I like it. And yeah, I think he looks great. I mean, even if you're not going to paint him, if you know, you put some panel lines on him and slap some water slides on his shoulders and, you know, some different areas, some caution markings, I mean, he's going to look awesome on your shelf. Some of the darker blue armor, you might have some problems with nub marks. Just take your time. I mean, anytime you have a dark color kit, that's going to happen, so take it or leave it. But yeah, he's great kit. So from here, I'm now going to disassemble him and put him back in these little Tupperware pieces marked basically with, you know, what they are. These are his weapons and accessories. I have other ones for his legs and whatnot. And then I'm going to take all those parts and wash them with warm dish soap, and I'll just scrub them with like a toothbrush with a nice bristle hanging out of it. So I'll just scrub all those parts. What I'm trying to do is just get all the dust off of it, all the dirt off of it, especially since I've sanded most of it. I don't want, you know, any of that dust and sand getting under my paint and contaminating it or causing it not to stick really well. And so for all of his nub marks and everything, I cleaned them the way I showed you guys earlier in this video. But for anything that was like a big flat surface on his shoulders here, or the shield, parts of his leg, I went over it with this buffing pad. On this side, it's definitely over 1,000 grit. It's probably like 1,200 grit. And it's just to rough it up just a little bit so that the paint will stick better. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm back with my second work in progress video for the Master Grade Jesta here. And in the first video, I cut everything out of the runners, sanded everything down, denubbed everything, and assembled the kit so you guys could see what it was looking like right out of the box. I went over that real quickly. And then since then, I have taken the whole kit back apart and washed it just with soap and water to get some of that sanding debris off there and also the mold release. And now I have the parts separated again. So let me show you what I have here. This is just for instance. All right. These are little, they look like little cat scratching posts, but it's basically what they are. They're just cardboard. This one's pretty small. It's a Mr. Paint product. But let me just show you one of these individually. Here you go. This is a bamboo stick, like that you make like shish kebab out of, with an alligator clip on the end, and then I have it attached to one of the inner frame pieces. So right now, the only pieces I have attached to these clips are just all inner frame stuff. I'm going to get started with that first. So you can see all the nice little details in there. And nothing has been applied to this one yet. So right now I only had enough alligator clips to do the inner frames on the arms, legs, and anything metallic that was going to go for like the backpack or the weapons or the shield. I actually ordered more alligator clips because I didn't realize I was that short. So from there, I've actually started to prime some of the parts, and I wanted to show you guys like what it would look like before and after. So I did about half of the parts, and what I am priming with is this, the Alcalad, other way, I gotta learn to work backwards, microfiller black primer, and it's got some beads in there. I don't know if you guys can hear that, to shake it up. This is my first time using this product. I've used a couple of Alcalad products before, and I like them, especially their metallic paints are pretty nice. I used those on the camphor. So far this worked out pretty well. On some of the bigger flat spots, I did have a couple issues where I had to like sand it down with maybe 2,000 grit. They were just a little bit coarse, but that was no big deal. I mean, it didn't even take any of the paint off. It just made it a little smoother. So let me show you what one of those parts would look like. Here it is primed in black, which obviously you can't see very many of the details. It's not as shiny as I would have thought. On the camphor I used gloss black enamel because of how shiny it is. It makes the metallics very shiny as well. This stuff is more of like a satiny sheen. I'm guessing because the surface is so smooth, it'll make it reflect very reflective that way. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to go over it with one more hit and see if they turn it a little shinier. But either way, I'm not too worried about it because with this particular kit, I'm gonna weather it up. So I don't really want the metallics to be, bright and shiny like they just came off the factory floor. I'm gonna gunk them up anyway. So I don't mind if they're not quite as bright as they were with the black enamel. And for colors for the frame, I have 3 choices I'm kind of going back and forth with. So they're all Alcalad. So the first one is the Alcalad stainless steel. Let me see if I can get that to focus. There we go. Stainless steel. So this is a very grayish color. And they're all kind of gray, but you get what I'm saying. And then for the other one, I have plain steel, which is, see if you can see on the bottom there. Let's shake this one up a little more. Much darker than the stainless steel. And then last, I have gunmetal, which is a little different color and dark as well. And it's got some nice sheen to it. So I don't know what I'm gonna go with. The stainless I think might be a little too silvery. So between these two, I'm not sure. The steel has like a little bit of brown to it, which I think might work well with the weathering and stuff. And then the gunmetal is much darker than I thought it would be. Let's see what it looks like inside there. Yeah, it's got almost like a, I don't know, like a bluish purpley tinge to it. I'm not really sure. But, so, I think I might go with just steel. Once that's all painted, I might pick out a couple of spots and do some gold or maybe some brighter colors, like maybe actually use the stainless in a couple of parts just to give it some contrast. So we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I'll get all these parts primed and then lay down the steel and see how it goes. And then for the one seam line on the kit, I have glued that seam line. It is the rifle, the beam rifle. See if I can get that to focus. Let me take these clamps off. This should be dry by now. And there you can see the seam line running right down the middle of it. If my camera will focus. Come on. There we go. Kinda. No, maybe. Yes. There we go. So you can kind of see the ridge right there that I've created with the glue. And that was just with Tamiya extra thin cement, and I sandwiched those pieces together. So everything is functional as it should. And I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do with this yet as far as color. I don't think I'm going to go metallic. I think I actually want to do like a couple of shades of gray and then maybe save a couple of metallic paints for just these little tiny details like rivets, maybe a little dry brushing on it. And then it also has a silencer that goes on the end of it. I might do something cool with that. We'll see. So this looks pretty good. I have a nice ridge of glue just about everywhere. I might need a tad bit of putty in a couple of places, but I think it should be pretty good. So we got that. And then that's pretty much where I'm at for right now. So let me get all these parts primed in black and the base coat of steel on them. And then I'll come back and we'll go from there with what we plan to do with the rest of the inner frame. All right, I'll see you guys.